Welcome back to Living in the San Francisco Bay Area. Today we're going to go over 5 tips for sellers to prep their home to be on the market and get top dollar in this competitive Bay Area housing market. If you are thinking about selling your home in the next 3 to 6 months, this is great timing for this episode. Working with a realtor early on can help take a lot of the stress out of the process. They'll help guide you in what to do to prep your home, plus they'll bring a lot of contacts and professionals in their network to the table to help you prep your home and your family for the move. I'm Andrea West. I've been a realtor since 2010 and I'm a Bay Area native. So whether you're looking to move in 9 days or 90 days or list your home in 1 month or 3 months, I would love to meet with you. My contact information is below. You can give me a call, shoot me a text, or send me an email. And I have a QR code in my banner. You can book a meeting with me. So meeting with that realtor early on, they're going to be able to help guide you throughout the process. And one thing you're going to want to share with your realtor early on is what you want that process to look like. Everyone's motivation for selling is different. I get sellers sometimes who are like, I just want top dollar. I want the most money possible. I'm cashing out. That's it. That's all I care about. While some sellers value the dollar amount being the most important factor in accepting an offer, some other sellers have other motivations where they want a clean offer. They want something that's a sure sale rather than going back and forth with contingencies or potentially having a buyer back out of a sale, even if that means taking a little bit less money. So that being said, determining why you're selling can help you and your realtor determine what is more important for you in an offer. So let's get into 5 tips for getting you the best buyer and top dollar for your home in the Bay Area. Number 5, we are going to start with curb appeal. That classic saying goes, you never get a second chance at a first impression. And that is so true. When you're driving down the street and you see a for sale sign and the yard doesn't look very kept up and there's weeds growing over and maybe there's, a couple newspapers in the driveway or hasn't been pressure washed or hasn't been painted in a while and it looks like things aren't really in tip-top shape. It's a huge difference before you even open the door. Even if everything in the house is pristine and perfect, if it's not on the front of the house when you first drive up, it raises questions. And it definitely puts your house already down a peg before they've even opened the door. So curb appeal is huge. Additionally, outdoor space became hugely important post-pandemic. Everyone valued more outdoor space, landscaped outdoor space, and then value on being able to entertain and have more functions outdoors. Having curb appeal from the front of your house, well, yes, it may not translate to as much usable outdoor space and will definitely help plant that seed in their minds about outdoor space in this home. So landscaping in the front can definitely be more enticing. I'm also going to throw out in here the back of your yard, doing something nice there. Now, that doesn't mean that you need to spend an arm and a leg landscaping the whole thing. If you can afford to and you have a yard with great potential, then definitely do. But of course, keep in mind your return on investment. So depending on what you're trying to do in the yard, depending on what you're trying to achieve, there's some great ways you can just clean up your yard and make things more appealing. So make sure you're keeping up with weeding, make sure you're putting in kind of more low maintenance plants or landscaping, unless you've got an irrigation system, and then that's an excellent option as well to utilize. If you're moving out of the home when you're selling it, and now you've got a yard that's going to need maintenance, it's going to need perhaps a gardener to come or somebody to come and water, unless it's got an irrigation system, which would be great, but somebody definitely is going to need to help keep that up and maintain the yard and the property. So making that clean and easy is a great way to do that. Prune things like fruiting trees and big bushes. Definitely make it as open as possible and as inviting as possible. If you have the money to spend some money on the landscaping in your yard, it could definitely be worth it. Fencing around the property is another one that can add up. Oftentimes, if you're sharing a fence with a neighbor, usually you guys end up splitting the bill. It's kind of a neighborly unspoken contract. But that being said, that can be another one that can add up as well. If you can do any of the fencing or sprucing it up, maybe just switching out a few boards instead of the full fence, maybe giving it a fresh coat of paint, paint or varnish. There might be some nice ways you can, make the fencing in the yard just look a little bit more appealing. String lights is another one. I love putting string lights outside. It really just gives this vibe of like inviting and cozy and welcoming. And it's like, oh, look, you entertain here. We have an entertainment spot. Little things like that can really go a long way for your yard. All right, number 4, I'm going to talk a little bit about cosmetic improvements. I get sellers all the time that have me in their home and they say, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? Should I update this? What should I do? I think it's really important to keep in perspective a few different things. Your biggest ticket items are going to be your kitchen and your bathroom. Hands down, that is the 2 biggest things inside your home. After that, I'm going to say probably flooring is going to be another one. And of course, there's lots of other things in your home that could potentially need updating, that could be outdated. Your 2 biggest bang for your buck return on investments in your home are going to be your kitchen and your bathrooms. Now, you may be telling me, I don't know if I want to spend, $50,000 on my kitchen and, another $20,000 or $30,000 on each of my bathrooms. And I'm just throwing out numbers here. I'm definitely not a contractor and every home is different. So I can't tell you how much it's going to be. But that all being said, it's definitely important to sit down with your realtor, have a game plan, and run some scenarios. In some people's situations, putting $20,000 or $30,000 into a bathroom definitely makes sense. You're going to get a huge return on investment. While other people, putting in that $50,000 or $60,000 on your kitchen just really isn't doing it. Oftentimes, a good way to save some money on the kitchen remodel is to do some paint on the cabinets, some new hardware on the kitchen cabinets, so like new pull handles and new knobs. That can really go a long way in sprucing things up. Now, if you have older cabinets and they're in good condition and they can be painted, and you've got older counters, there are some really great counter companies that can come out and maybe just switch out the countertops for you. You'll save money by having to remodel the entire kitchen, and you can get some nice new countertops that'll look a lot cleaner and fresher in there to go with that new paint on the cabinets. In addition to painting the cabinets and getting new countertops, check out the age of your appliances. If your appliances are on the older end and maybe they needed a little refresher, definitely worth looking into at least getting a new oven, maybe a new dishwasher. Fridges, honestly, we see all over the board. Some homes, they have a little blank space on the wall for a fridge and it says fridge goes here. I personally really appreciate a fridge. I have a lot of buyers who say to me, I don't have another $2,000 sitting around to buy a fridge now that I'm buying the house. Know that if you don't provide a fridge for a buyer, the buyer's probably going to ask for some money in the form of a credit for them to buy a fridge. Some buyers and sellers are totally fine with that approach. Other people, of course, may want to see the fridge already there. Everyone's preference is a little bit different, but definitely you want to make sure that your kitchen looks clean and as updated as possible. Same attitude I have for the bathrooms. If you have an old faucet, some old hardware in the bathroom, switching those out can go a long way. Paint some cabinets, and if your counters need a little updating, same kind of idea. I will say though, for bathroom vanities, there's actually some really good deals at some of the wholesalers. I know a ton throughout the East Bay, and there's some down in the Peninsula and up in the North Bay. You can go to some of the showrooms and go pick things out, and they're for a pretty modest price. So if you don't want to do a whole bathroom remodel, sometimes just switching out the vanity is a good one. Another thing that I recommend throughout the house that I personally think goes a long way: light fixtures. Light fixtures are huge. If you can just switch out light fixtures to something more modern, clean lines, something that brightens up the room, that doesn't mean we're adding new lighting. It doesn't mean we're putting in recessed lighting. It just means we're taking what light fixture is there and switching it out with something a little bit more updated, more modern, and a little bit newer and more in keeping with the style of the home. I think keeping in mind the style and aesthetic of the home and the style and aesthetic of the kitchen, the bathroom, the flooring, and everything else that goes into the home is going to help drive what style you should pick. Try and keep it the same kind of color theme as well. If you're going to go with like silver or chrome versus like a black or a brass, keeping it throughout the house consistent is going to be really helpful as well. Everyone's home is different. I could keep going on about cosmetic improvements, but I think these are a few good ones to get started with. After cosmetic improvements, we're going to go to number 3, which are the non-cosmetic improvements. These are the things that they're kind of under the hood, so to speak, right? You're not going to be seeing them when you walk in the door. You're not going to know that maybe you've got termites in the basement, or that you've got dry rot under the deck stairs or up in the roof eaves. You may not know that the roof is older, or that you've still got knob and tube electrical wiring in the walls. People aren't going to know when they come to an open house right away if your electrical still has knob and tube, or if your plumbing is still galvanized pipe, or if it's upgraded to copper. Now, whether or not you decide to invest in improving these prior to the sale of your home is a great question and a great calculation that you need to do. And there's a few different things at play on this one. One, there are deal breakers for buyers, right? So if you have a home and you're saying, hey, Andrea, I want $1 million for this home. And I'm looking at it and I'm saying, hey, seller, you know what? You've got $50,000 in non-cosmetic improvements that need to be done at this home. And these are things that could be deal breakers for clients, right? Like electrical or plumbing, or maybe foundation work that needs to happen. I'm going to tell you, look, if you want that top dollar, you're probably looking at having to do some of this stuff. But if you're looking at me and saying, you know what? I just want to sell my property as is. I don't want to put any work into some of these extra things. I want top dollar, but I want top dollar in the condition it's in. Then that's a definite option for you to have as a seller. There's no rule that you have to fix anything up. And there's also no rule that you have to have an inspection done prior to listing. But I am going to say to you here, I highly, highly recommend getting inspections done prior to listing. And I'll tell you why. I work with so many buyers and sellers throughout the Bay Area, and I see so many homes. And when I go with a buyer, let's just say on a property tour, and we see 4 or 5 homes in one time, and we're seeing them back to back together. At the end of the day, if my buyer turns to me and says, great, let's get disclosures for the 5 homes that we saw today. Well, guess what? If 2 of those homes don't have property inspections and the other 3 do, guess which homes get put at the bottom of the list? The ones without property inspections. It really makes it hard for buyers to go, you know what? I really loved that home, but I don't know what's wrong with it. They haven't done inspections. So why didn't they do inspections? Is the seller hiding something? And I don't know what a fair price is because I don't know what the condition of it is. I know the kitchen looks nice. I know the bathroom looks nice. I know the floors look nice, but how's the roof? How's the plumbing? How's the foundation, the electrical, all that good stuff? It really gives people a lot more confidence, and they can feel a lot more empowered to make a great offer on your home, knowing the condition it's in before they even put that pen to paper. And generally speaking, unless there's something huge and unfixable with your home, or so catastrophically expensive to fix on the home, those properties are still going to sell even with the disclosed imperfections. It's the Bay Area. A lot of our homes here are 50 plus years old, if not 100 plus years old. Guess what? A 100-year-old house, yeah, it's going to need some work. We all know that. There's fungus, there's dry rot, there's termites, there's electrical, there's plumbing, there's foundation, there's roofs. Everything needs to be checked out. So that's why it's so important. If you get that home inspection, get a pest inspection, get a roof inspection, do the 3 together, you can probably get them done under $1,000 in total. I know it sounds like a lot of money. It's definitely worth the investment. It's definitely going to put you higher up in the ranking for buyers. You're going to get offers faster. You're going to get more serious buyers that are offering you real numbers and not just shots in the dark. It really puts you and the buyer in your separate driver's seats because you both feel empowered. It puts you both in a good position to feel like the price that is being agreed upon for the property is a fair price based on its condition and value at the time that you did it. One more thing to add for the non-cosmetic upgrades and potential fixes that you might do. Insurability in California has become a real sticking point. The insurance companies are really cracking down on things like knob and tube wiring, plumbing, old roofs, and poor foundations. Those are the big 4. So when a new buyer is coming in to buy your home, you may have an insurance policy that you've had 10, 15 years, you've had no problem with it, your insurance carrier is still insuring you and they've continued to renew you. But guess what? Your new buyer that comes in, buys your property, they may not be able to turn around to your same insurance provider and get the same insurance that you have. It may be twice as much. They may honestly not even insure to them. Point being, so if a new buyer is shopping around and realizing that, hey, they want to buy your property, but you have old electrical and they can't even get insurance for it, that might be a deal breaker. And chances are that's going to be a deal breaker for almost every buyer. I sold a property to a couple in Alameda, and it was a 4-unit building. The sellers ended up doing the electrical on the building because that was the only way that they were going to sell it, because it wasn't going to be able to be insured by anybody if they didn't updo the entire electrical on the whole building. The building was 100 plus years old. It was 4 units. It was a pretty hefty price tag that the sellers did, but I watched it happen. I watched them be on the market. They couldn't sell because of the electricity, because no one could get insurance. They pulled it. They did the electrical. They did it the right way with permits. They came back on and they sold, and my buyers bought it. Even with all that, my buyers had to go through 12 different insurance agencies to finally find one that would insure it. Why? Because it was an old building. Even though everything was done right, even though all the permitting was done and everything was upgraded as much as possible, they still had to go through all of this insurance rigmarole just to get basic insurance for the building. They did it. I'm glad they did. And it's actually a requirement. If you're getting a loan, unless it's a cash offer, you have to be able to get insurance. So it's going to be a requirement for the lender. So it actually means that your property would be incredibly hard, next to impossible to sell if anyone can't get insurance. So now moving to number 2, you've done all of the great things. You've done the cosmetic improvements, you've done the curb appeal and the landscaping, you've done whatever you could or decided to do on the non-cosmetic improvements. So now we are getting ready to put your home on the market. So at this point, if you are living in the home while it is being sold, you have got a fun little task of making your home as presentable and inviting to as many people as possible. That can mean a lot of things depending on your home and what you have, but the first thing you're going to start with is declutter. You want to have your home look like a pristine showroom home. No clutter, no dog toys or kid toys. You're not going to have lots of knickknacks and tchotchkes out. Things are going to be neatly put away in closets and drawers, and all of the extra clutter, if you can put it in boxes in the garage or put it in a storage unit, would be even better. That would be a great way to start off getting your home ready to be photo ready and to be on the market. While you're decluttering, you're also going to want to depersonalize your home as much as possible. I know it's not fun, and I'm sure you've heard it before, but I'm going to have to say it again. Get rid of all the family photos. Get rid of the trophies, get rid of the mementos, get rid of anything that makes your home feel like your home. You honestly want to feel like you're living in a showroom or a hotel room. You don't want to feel like you're living in your home. You don't want it to feel like yours, like it's warm and cozy and relaxed and personalized to you, because the second a buyer walks in and sees that, it makes it really hard for them to be able to come in and say, oh, here's where my couch is going to go. Here's where my photos would go. This is what I would put on the mantle. It really takes away a lot of their ability to see their creative vision. If you depersonalize, now I want you to arrange your furniture in such a way that it is going to be very inviting and make the room feel bigger. You can definitely have some consultation with some designers. Even some stagers might come in and give you a consult to help you arrange your furniture in such a way that it'll look a little bit bigger and brighter and more open. Putting up, neutral art, neutral colors, things that are going to be more appealing to a very large scale population of people. So for open houses and for showings, that way as many people as possible can come in and visualize their stuff and make it their own in their head, versus having to be like, oh my goodness, I hate that pillow, or oh, that throw is just terrible, I would never pick that. It really takes a lot of the attention off of your furniture and your stuff and more of the focus on the house, which is really what you're trying to sell. If you are able to move out of your home before listing it, it is going to help you immensely. Now, some people are not in a position to be able to afford to move out of their home before they list to sell. But if you are in a position that you're able to do that, it is going to help immensely. By moving out first, it really gives you more options. And the number one option I'm going to tell you to take is to stage your home. Please do not stage your home. It is going to go so far. It is one of the biggest investments and the best investments you're going to make to marketing your home. And I'll tell you why. If you've got a vacant home that you are listing with nothing in it and it's just a blank canvas, that sounds great and all, but like I said, I bring buyers into homes all day long. And if you go see 4 or 5 homes in one day and you come into one home and it's just a giant open room or an open bedroom and you're like, gosh, is a queen bed gonna fit in here? Is it just a twin bed size? Where am I going to put the bed? There's a window there. There's a closet there. I don't know if it's going to fit on the blank wall. Or you go into the big living room and you're like, man, I don't know what kind of couch is going to fit in here. Where am I going to put the TV? You know, all these questions that people come up with in their mind, it's kind of like doing somersaults and jumping jacks in your mind just to try and figure out, okay, where are you going to put things? How's it all going to fit? Is it going to work for your needs? Not having furniture in a home can really set you back because buyers now have to jump through those extra hoops to try and figure out if it's a good fit for them. Walking into a home that is professionally staged and staged well is really going to help and give you a huge advantage. It's going to attract more buyers to even want to come see the house to begin with because they'll see it in the photos, they'll see the great staging job, and it'll really make the house feel more cozy and open and warm and welcoming, and it's really going to give them great layout ideas. There are some excellent stagers in the Bay Area. Staging can cost you, and it will cost you a few $1,000s for sure, probably anywhere from about $3,000 to $10,000 and up from there, depending on how luxury you want to go and how large your home is, so how many pieces and how much furniture they're going to need. Staging contracts are generally 60 or 90 days for a flat rate. So say you signed a contract for 60 days for $6,000, then there's like a prorated schedule after that. And then it'll be kind of per week or per month or per day, depending on the stager. Most stagers like to get paid up front. Some stagers will take a payment at the close of escrow, which is really nice, which means you're paying no money out of pocket up on the beginning, but you are just taking it out of the proceeds of the sale. Some sellers really prefer that model because that means there's less money out of pocket when they're already dealing with a move and dealing with prepping the home. So definitely when you're shopping around for stagers, ask those questions. So the number one thing I would say is to be realistic with your expectations. So that definitely means price, but that also means terms and how you want the transaction and the entire sales process to go. So being in communication with your realtor is really going to put you a leg up. Be clear and communicative on what you expect from your realtor, and they should equally be clear and communicative on what they expect from you. It's a teamwork, it's a collaborative working together to get a home sold. So when you are listing your property, be realistic and be forthright about what you're looking for. Home sellers, it's no shock, they're going to want top dollar for their home. So asking your realtor what you can do to get top dollar is going to be hugely important. Having a realistic price expectation for the sale of your home is going to be really valuable through the whole process. When you're thinking about, okay, how much should I list my home for? It's definitely important to be realistic about the sales price of your home. You're not going to give $1 million for your home if you're in a neighborhood where everything else is selling for $800,000 and your home is comparable or similar to theirs. It's unfortunately just not going to happen. But if you are in a neighborhood where everything is selling for $1 million and you want $1 million, definitely have a conversation with your agent on how to achieve that with your pricing. It's one thing in the Bay Area, every neighborhood is different, every city is different, every home is different. Not listing your price too high or too low. If you list too high, you're going to sit on the market, you're going to look stale, you're not going to attract offers as quickly as you'd want. And people are going to see the days on the market creep up. The longer the days on the market are, the more stale your home becomes. Buyers tend to overlook it and go, oh, it's been on the market more than a month. Something's wrong with it. Next, they don't even go look at it. So as I mentioned, as those days creep up on the market, you definitely become more stale with buyers, which means less buyers are going to be eager and excited to be writing offers on your property. And then it's really hard to backpedal after that because, so say you're listed at one price and then say you go, man, I was listed at 1.1. Now I've got to come down $50,000 because I'm not getting buyers. I've been on the market for a month. I'm not getting any offers, right? I'm going to come down $50,000. Well, unfortunately, now guess what happens? Buyers are still seeing that you've been on the market 30 days. Now they're seeing you've come down $50,000 after 30 days. Now in their mind, they're immediately going, hey, cool, new price. I'm going to go check it out. But now how much further can I get them down from that? They've already showed me they've got wiggle room. Now I'm going to try and get them down further. Even if you coming down $50,000 really was the lowest price you're going to take, it already sets that tone with buyers. They're going to go, oh, hey, I'm going to try and get them down more. I think they'll take less money. Setting that price higher than other properties listed in your area can really put you at a negative and a disadvantage. You'll see those properties set on the market a lot longer, and ultimately they can end up selling for less than other properties in the neighborhood did, just because they did sit on the market longer and they were priced a little bit high. Now, I get a lot of buyers that say, well, I want to price it lower because if I price lower, I'm going to attract more buyers, I'm going to get multiple offers, and I'm going to start a bidding more. Now, that is true to a degree. It does happen a lot in the Bay Area where something will get listed and then it'll get multiple offers and it will get overbid. And then maybe it will sell at what the other homes in your neighborhood sold for. That's what we call comps. These are comparable properties to yours. That is a strategy that a lot of people do utilize in the Bay Area. Always a good idea to check out your local neighborhood and what other properties in your neighborhood listed at, and then what they sold for. You definitely don't want to price too low. If you price too low, you may not attract buyers who are serious about looking in the price range that you're actually expecting. So something to keep in mind. And plus, in addition to the multiple offers and overbidding, interest rates play a big part into how much somebody is willing to pay over the listing price. If it's a higher interest rate, chances are they're not going to be coming up as much and they're not as excited about paying more for a property than they would be, obviously, if their interest rate was a little bit lower. So keeping that frame of reference in mind as well. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. The challenge for you as a seller is to make your home more beautiful to as many people as possible so that you can have them come in and give you top dollar for your home. Hopefully these 5 tips were helpful. So when you're thinking about selling your property, definitely keep these in mind for the entire process. From the point people are thinking about selling their home to when they list really varies person to person in terms of timing. I'm Andrea West. I'm a Bay Area native and I've been a realtor since 2010. I love working with buyers and sellers on both sides of the bridge. I would welcome the opportunity to give you a free consultation to buying or selling your home in the Bay Area. You can reach out to me. My contact information is below. Shoot me a text, give me a call, send me an email. I also have a QR code in my banner. You can book a Zoom meeting with me as well. When we work together, your goals are my business. Thanks for joining me. Till next time, guys.